So I didn't really want to do this video, but I really just felt compelled to do it because of all the hate this movie is getting right now. What's up, guys? It's Super Jesus Jackson, back at it again with yet another controversial, probably, opinion. The Crow remake. The official trailer has come out. Obviously, we've received... we sort of got a teaser image before the trailer, and everyone lost their minds, you know, to put it lightly, but also accurately. A lot of people hated it, and they likened it to... We're all thinking about it. We're thinking of the you know, the rapper, you know, the modern rapper, but we're also thinking about Mr. Jared Leto's Joker, of course, and we all know how that turned out. And by that, I mean, everyone hated it. I loved it. I thought it was interesting. Look, I guess on the surface, it's very, you know, kind of like, what? But then once I see it in the movie, it all makes sense. It's pretty cool. I like the aesthetic, right? I like the movie Suicide Squad. I do, okay? Maybe because of that, you're going to click off this video. But here's the thing. Really, you know what? Let's watch the trailer. I'm late to the party anyway. It doesn't matter. Everyone's already put out their videos on YouTube completely crapping on this trailer. Everyone on Twitter, people in the comment section on YouTube, which will pull a couple of comments. Everyone, okay? Because apparently, the original Crow, which I love that film. It's one of my favorite films ever. Obviously, played iconically by Brandon Lee. Apparently, you can't touch that movie. But here we go, The Crow, 2024 official trailer, starring Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs.
What's the first thing you liked about me?
I thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
You feel like my person.
You feel like my person.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I saw things. I shouldn't have seen any of it.
Shelly! Shelly! Please don't do this!
When someone dies,
a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead.
and sometimes something so bad happens that the soul cannot rest. Until you put the wrong things right.
You were given the power of a god.
But you're running out of time to save her. I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them. I killed you.
Yeah, you did.
We have a problem. He came for us.
First impulse. Anger.
It's not anger. It's love.
Look at what you've become. You know that love promises only pain. You have no idea what hell awaits you. No, I do.
How many people have you loved?
I'll never be alone.
I mean, dude, that was pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. He was pretty good. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. You cannot tell me that was not a decent trailer. Like, come on. However, before you all begin to hate me, let's first talk about some things, okay? I can't help but, like, there was one line in the beginning of the trailer where Bill Skarsgård sounded like Pennywise again, but it's fine, whatever.
You feel like my person.
Everything else sounded normal to me. So, all right, look, here's the deal. Number one, the trailer, besides the first image and then a couple of other shots, doesn't really scream The Crow goth to me. You know what I mean? Like, the original Crow is such a centerpiece of goth art. Like, I mean, and goth culture. I mean, it is just cemented so much into our society as to what that culture is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it was influenced by it. It definitely pushed it forward, and it has influenced so many people of my age. You know, I'm 25 and older. It has become its own entity, and that sort of aesthetic is gone pretty much for the most part in this movie. I mean, there are some obvious things like, you know, the tattoos and the black and all of that, which is really cool, the goo. But in terms of the way the movie's shot, I mean, I would say the aesthetic of the first Crow is incredibly superior. Just the cinematography and the color and all of that. However, just because that's the case does not mean this one is going to be awful, okay? And that it should be crapped on, okay? That's number one. Things are allowed to change. But anyways, before we go further, the second thing is that some of the dialogue it's so simple. I mean, it's so simple.
I thought that you were quite brilliantly broken.
I mean, I really hope that the actual final film has some great dialogue. We already know of the great dialogue that is in the first Crow movie. I mean, you know, granted, the first Crow, some people don't think of it as like a Citizen Kane type of movie. Like, they just see it as a cool cult movie. Whatever. I think it's a masterpiece. So this remake, you know, I'm not asking for Shakespearean language over here, but I wouldn't mind, you know, getting a little bit of that, just like from the first film. Bill Skarsgård is like, you know, what do you see in me or whatever? And she's like, I see broken beauty or something. I mean, it's so basic and cliche at this point. You know what I mean? If you were to have done this, you know, in the 1990s and the 80s, it would have been fine. But now it's like kind of cringe. You know, I'm not going to lie. But it is a trailer. It is just a trailer. And I guess that easily leads into some of my concerns, because Rupert Sanders is the director of this film, which, I mean, he's directed, I think, 2 other movies like Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson and The Snow White and the Huntsman or something. And both of those movies were not critically or commercially acclaimed, I believe. Like, you know, they're not getting, you know, James Cameron or frickin' Christopher Nolan to direct the Crow remake. Okay, it's not happening. So that's one thing that I am concerned about. I mean, look, just because you've made a bad movie or a couple of bad movies doesn't mean you never get to make movies again. I don't know. I hope he does a good job. It really does bum me out that the movie just kind of, again, besides a couple of shots, just kind of looks like a normal, generic, you know, movie. Like, the aesthetic just looks so basic. It just looks like they just went outside and just shot the movie. You know what I mean? There's like nothing put into it, you know? I mean, there's a couple things here and there, like the resurrection of him and the crows and everything, the colors, the goo, you know, the scenes where he's like drowning, you know, in the goo or whatever, in blood, water, whatever. It's really cool. And they really just showed everything in this trailer. They showed everything. They showed his death, you know, the death of his girlfriend. They showed, I don't know, probably a lot of parts of the climax of the film. I don't know. They showed everything, which, I don't know, kind of screams desperation to me. I think that they know that this movie's not going to do that well. And they're just, you know, they're just vomiting. You know what I mean? At this point, they're like, screw it, just give them everything. At this point, just unleash everything, and hopefully they just go to see the movie. You know what I mean? I will say, after all those mixed and negatives, the positives, I really like, honestly, the design of the Crow. Ultimately, when he has the jacket on, the sword, you know, which is, I think, a reference to the original comic. He's pretty jacked, which is cool. The action sequences, the violence, the gore, which from what I've heard, is very similar to the gore. That's the original comic. It was very gory. So that's cool. Occasionally some cinematography that I'm getting here, occasionally some aesthetic, very, you know, but not as much as I would like. The action sequences look great. I think some YouTuber or something said John Wick, you know, cross the Crow. That's kind of what this film sort of looks like. At least those action sequences, and I'm down for it, man. It looks awesome. I mean, you know, because it's 2024, we can do a lot of, you know, probably cooler things that you really weren't able to do, 20, 30 years ago, right? So I'm really excited about that. So if anything, I mean, it should be an entertaining film, right? But, and the makeup and everything, it looks cool. It does. It looks really cool. I mean, when he's just shirtless and he has the tattoos all over him, I mean, it's kind of whatever. But I don't know. It all depends how you do it. It all depends how it ends up, right? That's it. But now, let's move on to, and I got to take off the headphones for this. We got to talk about the real reason I made this video. So many people are hating on this film before it has even come out. They're hating on the, and this is really the narrative. This is the narrative. You cannot remake The Crow because it is so iconic, and no one else can be Eric Draven. No one else. Only Brandon Lee. Let me extend you an olive branch. I know that the original is great. It's iconic. I know that because of Brandon Lee and because of his, he's got a lot of baggage, and good baggage. I mean, his dad, right? And obviously his unfortunate death. The Crow just has a huge legacy because of all those tragedies and because of really also how good the film is. And it's just done so much for culture and for society, I would say. That doesn't mean you can't remake The Crow, okay? But here, let me read some comments to you, okay? Here it is. Miracle of Sound. This is a YouTube channel. It's probably well-renowned. Every 90s goth kid playing Burn by The Cure over and over tonight to try and brain bleach this trailer from our minds. LOL. Watch Mojo commented on this. Getting super easy, barely an inconvenience vibes. Rest in peace, Brandon Lee. Sun City Gamer says, Yo Crow, we need to talk. Florida Joker. That's fine. E_crypto says, in the original, Eric looks like he plays guitar for 9 Inch Nails, which, yes, he does. In the reboot, Eric looks like he raps on SoundCloud. I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. A couple of other comments here. The Crow can be imitated but never duplicated, and Brandon Lee never dies. And that one has 11,000 likes. I'm telling you, people are just they're not buying it. They're not happy with this at all. And I remember when the image was released before, it was like, I mean, it just got on Twitter. I mean, it was just crazy. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not going to jump on this. Actually, you know what? This is the real deal. This is really my point, is that, like, I totally get the idea of why remake. Like, let's make new movies, new original ideas. Let's do that. But we all know why movie studios don't want to do that as much, right? I get it. And it's not right, but, it is what it is, and there are some logistical reasons for that. I'm not going to say that there isn't. But here's the thing, is that if people were just saying, look, just stop remaking stuff, like, whatever, like, I wouldn't have made this video. I mean, I love The Crow, but I don't think I really would have been compelled to do this. But it's really because people are saying, overwhelmingly, you cannot touch The Crow. Brandon Lee, he is the ultimate Crow, yada, 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 whatever. Have we not learned our lesson, people? I mean, look at Heath Ledger. The Brokeback Mountain guy. That's what all you said. And then he gave us an Oscar-winning performance as the Joker. Look at Ben Affleck. Like, you cannot deny that his Batman was phenomenal. He proved all of us wrong. All of us. Okay, even people who dislike, the DC, Zack Snyder's DC universe, they don't kind of crap on Batman, like on Ben Affleck's Batman. They know he was good, okay? Now, I'm not saying that every time this has happened in history, it's always worked, but it is very, it has been plenty of times in the past where someone has been cast as something and we didn't think it would work, and then it worked. That's a huge thing, okay? And Bill Skarsgård is a phenomenal actor. He's phenomenal. So it's really that. It's the sort of gatekeeping of The Crow as a property, as an entity, and the gatekeeping of the role. It's just so childish. It's so immature. It's like, grow up. Things evolve, things change, and if this is what we're getting, this is what we get. And then once the movie comes out and we still hate it, then scream out, into the sky, about how much it sucks. But I mean, like, to have this attitude beforehand, before the movie comes out, and to have this attitude of, like, gatekeeping and just kind of like, no one can play the Crow. Only Brandon Lee. He's the true Crow. It's just no. I'm just not going to get behind that at all. As much as I love the original Crow, as much as I love Brandon Lee, and as much as he will always be the Crow, you know what I mean? I get that. But if Bill Skarsgård delivers a phenomenal performance here, which I am not really getting a lot of that in the trailer, hopefully they've not shown us some great scenes. Hopefully this isn't all they have to offer. Then we shall wait and see, and maybe Bill Skarsgård's amazing in the film, and he was handed a bad script, a bad everything, and the movie sucks. But like, come on, and then also just as much as I hate remakes, initially, as much as I just want original ideas, I'm not gonna lie that if we do get a good remake, then it's a win-win for all of us. Then we get a good remake, that we have the original The Crow with Brandon Lee, and we can hold that forever and love it, right? And then we can also have this more modern Crow remake. What's stopping us from having both? It's these I don't know, just these childish way of viewing things, and just sort of, no, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. That's really the thing that irks me. I understand that, remakes don't always pan out, 100%. Like that is something that happens. But like, there are times when it does pan out. And there are many times when an actor, takes on a role and they do a phenomenal job. And just because the person who previously played it is so iconic and legendary for many reasons, doesn't mean that someone else can't come on and play the role. Brandon Lee would have let, someone else take on the role because he was a nice dude. You know what I mean? Like, if you take on the higher ground, you just let things happen, and if they're good, awesome. And if they suck, well, they sucked. Oh, and by the way, the original director of The Crow, Alex Proyas, he said some comments that I thought were kind of sort of uncivil and a little immature, and he's not helping. Which is also funny because the dude has also directed other movies that have been just tremendously awful, and I've only seen a couple of them, I believe, or at least one. I'm looking at you, Gods of Egypt. But anyways, that's it for me, I think. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you think I'm out of my mind? Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comment section. Give this video a like if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you enjoy this content. Share this video with your Crow-loving friends, or hating loving friends, if that does exist, which would be very unfortunate. Or at least, I guess in this case, share with your friends who hate this trailer. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you, you beautiful creature. But I think that's it for me. You all take care, stay safe, and until next time, I love you.